you better listen, you better remember this, you don't do this, you don't do that, because if you don't listen to me, next time you're old already, then you will know. That is the constant thing that is always thrown at us. And a lot of times we just follow blindly. We are still crushed by fear of the unknown. So today we're going to talk about confinement myths, common confinement myths and beliefs. Yeah, there's actually quite a number of them. You always hear of a lot of people say, you can do this, you cannot do that, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. And a lot of it is not only from the Chinese, the Malays and the Indians are like that too. It's just that maybe because you don't hear it so often from the other races, but you hear it more from the Chinese especially. And sometimes I have a Malay friend and even Indian friends who actually adopt or who got told some of the Chinese belief, and then they were seized by fear, and they say, oh really, it's like that, and then is it better I follow or no? So I want to tell you that confinement myth is actually very, very cultural, but there are certain things that is quite common to everybody, that everybody seems to be afraid of them. When it comes to this, it's our parents who tell us, or our grandparents who tell us certain things. You better listen, you better remember this, you don't do this, you don't do that, because if you do it, and you ask them why cannot, they say, don't ask. If you don't listen to me, next time you're old already, then you will know. Isn't it? That is the constant thing that is always thrown at us. Don't ask. When you're old already, then you will know. And a lot of times we just follow blindly. In this age, there's so much advancement in science and technology, and yet we are still crushed by fear of the unknown, or the things that they say that next time you're old already, then you will know. So here we are. We have want to bust a few confinement myths and beliefs, and to see whether they make sense or not. Okay, and whatever I'm sharing with you, I have to give credit to Yi and Sun, who actually I got the information from their website, and I'm just sharing it with you, and also a few of my interpretation and also my my opinions. So one of the things that they always tell us, right, is do not drink plain water. Correct? Do not drink plain water. Is it true if you drink plain water, something is going to go wrong? Because they say it's going to cause water retention. And then you are supposed to be hot, so that when you're hot, you're supposed to sweat. If you drink too much water, you're going to cool down your body too much. And when your body is cold, when you're supposed to be hot, you are more susceptible to illnesses. The Chinese actually have this thing about what do you call that, the heat, the heat in your body that you have to retain. Why is that so? Don't know. Next time you're old already, then you will know. Okay, then you will say that if you drink too much water, it causes water retention. It will cause you unable to hold your pee, and then when you are old already, you will constantly be leaking. That's what they always tell. Is it a fact or a myth? The truth is, water is very important. It's very important to the new mothers, because the new mother actually tend to sweat a lot more due to hormonal changes in her body. That's very normal. You can have the aircon on at 16. Everybody else is cold except you, because it's very normal. The hormone changes in your body cause you to sweat a lot, and when you sweat a lot, you lose a lot of liquid. And when you lose a lot of liquid, guess what? You get dehydrated. Everything will go wrong. Once you get dehydrated, everything goes wrong. Your digestive system goes wrong, your sleep goes wrong, your heartbeat, your pressure, everything goes wrong. And especially if you want to breastfeed, if you become dehydrated, you don't drink water, you will not produce as much milk as you want to. Okay, and it's all the more reason to drink water, plain water, to keep hydrated. Because we're asking you to drink warm water, not asking you to drink cold water. Yeah. So some people say, well, I do drink, but I drink red water. Isn't it also liquid? Yes, it is. Actually, all liquids count. Your soup, your milk, if you want to, your oat milk, or any of your cereal that you're taking, your juices, if you're taking your Chinese soup or whatever soup, and tea and coffee do count as liquid. It's true. But it is really highly recommended that you drink at least during your confinement, if you're really scared about that plain water, to drink at least 2 glasses of plain water every day, warm water. Actually, we are advised to drink at least 3 to 4 liters of liquid, any liquid. And out of this 3 to 4 liters of liquid, 2 2 liters of it should actually be plain water. And I'm very sure that a lot of you who are listening to me, and then you say things like, when I was in my confinement, I drank water and something happened to me. I can tell you, mommy, that it's not scientific. It has not been proven, and that something that happened to you could really be because it's coincidence. Your body is weak, your body is weakened, and therefore something not so good happens to you. You feel weak. But there is also something called drinking too much water. Drinking, you are advised not to drink more than 3 liters of plain water a day, because when you drink too much plain water, you may get something called water intoxication. It dilutes the potassium, it dilutes the minerals in your body, and because of that, it can actually cause you to reduce supply as well, reduce your milk supply. Now, the Hongzhou Sui, the red date water, the herbal drinks that a lot of Chinese mothers drink on a daily basis during confinement, you can drink it, of course, but do it in moderation, because although it's good, it does help to increase milk supply. Drinking too much red date water will actually reduce your milk supply as well. So everything in moderation, mummies. Okay, the next one would be, they say you must consume alcohol during confinement. All right. If you must consume alcohol, what about those people who can't consume alcohol? Those who are allergic to alcohol, or those who don't consume alcohol due to religious reason. They must consume in order to be healthy. Then those who don't consume alcohol are not healthy. Does it make sense to you? No, right? Because if they say it's to boost blood circulation, what can boost blood circulation? Exercise. To warm up the body, you're already so warm. Remember, you're sweating a lot because of your hormones, due to your hormones during confinement. So is it true? And our sensei tell us no. Alcohol is not essential to recovery. Alcohol, yes, is commonly used in traditional Chinese medicine to expel cold and promote circulation, but it's not an essential part, it's not a necessary part. So if you absolutely hate alcohol, you're absolutely allergic to alcohol, then no, you don't have to. And a lot of mothers actually feel guilty, or they feel fear, they say that, oh no, I haven't drank enough alcohol, something is wrong, it's going to happen to me, I'm going to get sick, I'm going to get weaker. No, it's not. Relax, mommy, relax. It's not true, okay? And if you want to drink alcohol, you should drink it in moderation during confinement, all right? Now, what about after confinement? Can you still drink that 1 glass of alcohol, and 1 glass of white wine or red wine or beer, just for fun, or just because you that is what you want to do to distress? Is it okay? Yes, actually it is okay. You can take, you're not going to drink the entire bottle, right? You're not going to drink until you're drunk and vomiting, right? So yes, it's okay. Please go ahead and enjoy yourself if you want to. All right, just very moderately, very minimally, just to enjoy yourself. But bear in mind, for some mothers, alcohol actually reduces milk supply and it inhibits letdown. That means it slows down the flow of breast milk from your breast, and therefore, because the milk slows down, your baby might be irritated, or you might not be able to pump as much milk quickly as you used to. So do consider that, okay? Now, the next one is, do not shower or wash one's hair. In today's age and time, yes, a lot of people still do this. They believe in this, that they do not want to wash their hair or shower for at least 12 days or 7 days, or some I've heard, recently a mother told me that she was asked not to shower for 28 days, because they say contact with water will cause wind to enter the body, and it will lead to headaches and rheumatism later on in life. Is it a fact or a myth? Okay, it is a myth. It is a myth, all right? It's perfectly fine to continue one's bathing habits. You want to be clean, all right? You want to maintain personal comfort. You want to prevent skin and wound infection. In fact, a lot of women who suffer from mastitis, the first thing during confinement, they suffer from mastitis, which is a breast infection. One of the first thing we usually suspect is the lack of hygiene. Now, some people actually say, no, I actually wipe my body. I do a wet wipe down so that I don't shower. And that means they use a wet towel to wipe over the whole body, and that's it. All right. There was actually some research that actually shows that wiping your body is actually dirtier than not showering. Because when you wipe your body down with your cloth, your hanky, or your towel, right? Then after that, most people will actually take this hanky, they will rinse it under the tap, and then they hang it back in the toilet. And do you know that how much germs are there in your toilet, especially if you constantly do not close the toilet lid before flushing? You use the toilet and then you flush without closing the lid. There's a microscopic spray of water, of toilet water. It will go into the room which you don't see. Okay, it's microscopic, and all this spray of toilet water includes your urine and your feces, and they land on your toothbrush and they land on your towels, and this is the same towel that you use to wipe yourself again. And that is why you're at higher risk of getting infections when you do not bathe. Okay, so of course, suggestion is to dry your hair and your body immediately after bathing to prevent exposure to cold air, and I think that's logical. Okay, after bathing, just wipe yourself down, make sure that you're clean, you're dry, put on your clothes, and then walk out the room, walk out the bathroom. Yeah, so that's only logical. Yeah. Okay, the next thing, some confinement ladies, confinement mummies, grandmas, they will always insist that you take a lot of herbal supplements. And then a lot of mothers who have jaundice babies do not dare to take the herbal supplements because for jaundice, because the doctor tell them stop all herbs, because of the baby's jaundice. And then they get very torn apart, and then they feel like I have not taken care of myself. I have not bowl. Bowl. What is bowl? That means replenish my body, or help my body to rejuvenate through the consumption of herbal supplements, all these herbs, Chinese herbs. And then after confinement, it plays in their mind, or their mother, like I know a certain grandmother who always tell her daughter, you're like that because you didn't bowl. Yeah, you're like that because you didn't take enough tonic soup or whatever it is. Is it true that you have to consume plenty of supplements? Yeah, and the sensei actually tell me it's not true, because what is true is moderate dietary recommendation. All right, it's good enough, and it can be generalized to all new mothers. That means if you really want to bowl, you don't really have to go for porcupine. I don't know what you call bladder or special things. And bear in mind, mommy, a lot of these special Chinese herbs comes from animals that may go extinct, and if we can play a part in preventing these animals from going extinct, why not? Okay, consider it very, very carefully before you consume all these so-called tonic, special tonic herbs. Yeah. So every woman's health profile is very different, yes, and you may or you may not benefit from the same remedy. And a lot of time you go on the internet and you say, oh, this is good, and then you buy it. It may not work for you. Okay, so it's better to consult a qualified traditional Chinese medicine doctor, physician, if you're so inclined. I know a lot of my Malays and Indian friends, they are using TCM as well for personalized advice and treatment if you want to, but actually you don't have to, because most TCM will also tell you eating a healthy, balanced diet will do, being healthy, being active is good enough. So you take your herbal remedies and your tonic soups in moderation. Okay, that is good enough, really. Then the next one is, I got this when I was in confinement. I was tearing up most of the time. I wanted to cry at every single thing. My baby won't breastfeed, I want to cry. My baby breastfeed, I want to cry. And then my mom would tell me, don't cry. If you cry next time, you already, your eyes will, I don't know, in Chinese they call it Pak Ten Gong, translated into glow green light. And that used to scare me, like, what is this glow green light? Yeah, that basically it means that you may go blind. So do not read, do not cry. I was not allowed to read, and I've heard a lot of confinement ladies and a lot of grandmas telling the new mothers the same. All right, yes. And then when you hold on to the phone, maybe the phone may be a bit true lah, because there's a glare from the phone and you're in a darkened room and you're always reading your phone, right? Be moderate lah. It's not really true that you will go blind, but yes, it does affect your eyes, your eyesight. Yeah. So there's actually no basis if not to cry, not to read. But however, nothing wrong with in making sure that you have good eyesight. Okay. And one of the recommendation is goji berry. Goji berry is actually quite good for eye power. Yeah. So I think today what will lead to eye problems is looking at the phone too much. Yeah. So, and they say that you must wear warm clothing and do not use fans and air conditioning. This is Malaysia. Malaysia is hot and humid. Does it make sense? When you are in the hospital, right? The first thing in the hospital is so cold. And your experience, first birthing experience is in a hospital, and your first 2-3 days is in a hospital. So does it mean that your life, your health is ruined forever? No, ma. All right. And then when you get back to your confinement, into your confinement home, they insist that you must wear warm clothing and do not use fan and air conditioning. Is basically quite ridiculous. I'm sorry to say that, but some people still believe in it. Now, my opinion is, if you want to, go ahead. You want to go ahead, as long as you are comfortable, right? You are comfortable. You want to follow anything, just go ahead, but do not kill yourself doing it. And there are people who have died actually making sure that they are well covered all the time. They die from heat stroke. So the new mother should always do what makes her comfortable. Yeah. And there is no need to suffer just because you had a new baby. And more importantly, your baby should not suffer along with you. Agree? I've seen mothers who refuse to switch on the fan, but aircon is fine. Well, to me, aircon and fan is fine. But of course, I do understand if the fan is directly blowing air at you, it doesn't feel very comfortable. After a while, your face actually feels numb when the fan is constantly blowing at you. So it's a good idea. If it doesn't feel comfortable, switch off the fan. But a good cooling down of the house, of the room with aircon should be fine. But also bear in mind that your baby's comfort level is quite important. Your baby actually the body temperature, the environment around 25 to 26 Celsius with the aircon on is fine. Not too cold, okay, and not too warm either. So this is it. This is all that I have for you. And you can, of course, follow all these confinement practices if you want to. If you are scared and you say, oh, I better be safe than sorry, go ahead, no problem. But make sure you always ask yourself this question, okay? Who will suffer? Okay. And whenever people say, do this, don't do this, you ask yourself one question. If I follow, will I die? Or you ask yourself this question, if I follow, will I die? So they say, okay, during your confinement or during your breastfeeding time, don't eat watermelon. It's okay. Well, if I don't eat watermelon, will I die? No, ma. Okay, it won't die, ma. So don't eat lah. I say, don't drink coffee. If I don't drink coffee, will I die? I think I will die. Then please drink. All right. And then I say things, don't bathe. Don't bathe for how many days? I said, will you die? Will I die if I don't bathe? Now, I may not die, but my husband might. So you have to consider whether your husband is important enough for you or not. Okay. So these are all the things that you have to consider when you make decisions on confinement practices. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you that you shouldn't do this, you should do that. Just giving you information that there are a lot of this confinement myth are really they don't have a basis in science at all, or they don't even have a basis in logic. So you have to make up your mind on whether you want to follow. Okay. So the next one I want to share. I want to ask you is who will be supporting you during your postnatal recovery? Very important. Your confinement period. Who will be supporting you during your postnatal recovery? Now, some of you will be saying, I'm engaging a confinement lady. Some of you will have your own mothers or your own mother-in-law who will be supporting you. Some of you are actually choosing to go to a confinement center. And yes, confinement center seems to be a very, very popular choice nowadays. And I do agree that confinement centers do give very good service. Okay, they take care of everything. Okay, from A to Z, they take care of everything for you. And therefore, you don't have to buy extra wok or buy extra pots and pans just to satisfy the confinement lady in her cooking. You don't have to go shopping for raw materials for your chicken or your fish to cook, and your vegetable. So going to a confinement center makes perfect sense. And the thing that you have to consider is which confinement center to choose, right? Or which confinement lady. So this is does not matter whether you choose a confinement center or confinement lady, but either one, you do comprehensive research. Okay, what are their protocols? The confinement lady or the confinement center, what are their protocols when it comes to breastfeeding, when it comes to jaundice, when it comes to a crying baby? What do they do? And then you make sure, if you're choosing a confinement center, you make sure, are they certified? Are they experienced? It's a confinement lady experience. Sometimes it's good to ask for referrals from a confinement auntie. Who was your last job? Give me a reference. And then you call up for the reference and you ask, how were you happy? It's okay to ask for references, okay? And if the confinement lady will refuse to give you any references, that should be a red flag to you, okay, to consider whether you should hire her or not. I know of a lot of stories. I've heard a lot of stories where confinement ladies have run off. But I also heard of a lot of stories where people who have wonderful, wonderful confinement ladies. Yeah. So don't let this stop you from hiring a confinement lady and finding a good one. But you see, mommy and daddies, you get to be 9 months pregnant. Okay, in these 9 months, do proper research, do a comprehensive research on. You don't have to immediately sign up for the first confinement lady or even the first confinement center you go to. Okay, you don't have to. There are many, many, many confinement centers around. Okay, the market is just so big now. So it is not true that the first one you go to, just because they offer you some very attractive what do you call that, incentive to sign up now. Okay, so because this is a baby we are talking about, this is your confinement that we are talking about. Okay, and you have to carefully review the contract before committing to the confinement center, especially. Confinement ladies usually not much contract lah, but one of the things that you should ask from her is actually her IC law. Okay, make sure that she send you a copy of her IC just for your own. I'm sure you're not going to use the IC for criminal purposes, right? So that is to protect you as well. Okay, so and there are certain things, if you're going to a confinement center, especially certain things, how you should carry on your research, especially if you want to breastfeed. Now, if you do not want to breastfeed, totally fine, no problem. Okay, I am a breastfeeding consultant. My aim is to help mothers who wants to breastfeed. Mothers who do not want to breastfeed, trust me, I have never pointed a gun at anyone and say you must breastfeed. Okay, nobody is able to come out in public and say I force her to breastfeed, because the breast is on the mother. It's not possible for me to force you to breastfeed. So it's the same thing with confinement centers. All right, a confinement center who claims themselves to be breastfeeding friendly, all right, they cannot force you to breastfeed if you do not want to. But if breastfeeding is your number one goal, as in with your baby, and it should be, but it's entirely up to you. But as a breastfeeding consultant, I must take the opportunity to explain to you that breastfeeding, if possible, should be your number one goal. Okay, and therefore you should make sure you seek help, proper help during your 1 month confinement, because getting good help, especially in the first 1 week. Yeah, the first 1 week is the most important time that will set you on the correct path to breastfeeding successfully for at least 1 year or 2 years. And this is the first 1 week that a lot of people make mistakes in. And when they make certain mistakes in the first 1 week, a lot of time they struggle the entire breastfeeding journey, and it's very, very difficult for them. And these are the mothers whom I believe, when they say they want to breastfeed, and therefore you, mommy, you deserve to be supported to breastfeed. Agree? So what are the things that you need to look out for? the things that you need to look out for when it comes to breastfeeding confinement center. So, and I hope that a lot of confinement centers, operators, managers are actually listening in to me today. If they are not, maybe if you are going to a confinement center, send them this Facebook live recording to them to actually listen to it. The first thing you have to actually ask yourself is to understand whether the confinement center is really breastfeeding friendly. They may say that I'm breastfeeding friendly, but like that. Okay. Number one is, does the center offer free formula? That is the biggest red flag. If they offer you free formula as a going home present, or even the free formula milk as a present now. The free formula milk is not just for baby. They may be offering it for baby. That is a big no-no already. That means that this confinement center is not breastfeeding friendly at all, because where do they get the free formula milk from? From a formula milk company. And a formula milk company, you think they're so kind-hearted to give you free formula without wanting anything in return? Because they know, formula milk companies know, as long as you have that free formula milk, you may be so tempted, especially when things get tough, you'll be so tempted to use it. And once you use it, not 100%, but chances are very, very high, you will continue to use formula milk. All right. Or does a confinement center ask you to bring in your own formula milk? You say, when you check in, this is a checklist of you have to bring your clothes, you have to bring your underwear, you have to bring your toothbrush, and you have to bring a can of formula milk and your baby bottle. Okay, this should be a red flag to you that these confinement centers may not have good trained staff to help you in breastfeeding. They may have staff to help you with baby, but they are not able to help you in breastfeeding. So this is the biggest flag of all. Another flag should be, even if they do not give you infant formula, but they give you maternal formula, that means formula milk for mothers. Formula, even if they give you, the milk is for me, it's not for my baby. It's the same thing. Where do you think they got the milk from? Because they got the milk from a formula milk company freely, so that they can give it to you freely. And although it is aimed at you, at the mother, and when the mother have difficulty, the first thing that comes into their mind is, when I was pregnant, I was drinking this formula milk. So it's okay for me to drink this formula milk. Then that means it's okay for my baby to drink the same formula milk. See how smart they are. They actually attack you first to be able to reach out to your baby. So free formula milk is a big no-no. Okay, I hope that formula milk that confinement centers are made aware of this, because this is one of the major reason when formula milk is given in the first 1 week. They say just to in case, or when the mother's milk has not kicked in yet. When the milk has not kicked in yet, you give that formula milk. All right, this is the start of usually your baby's lifelong or your own breastfeeding problems. All right, this is usually the start of it. So instead of giving you as one of your sign-up benefits formula milk, the confinement center should actually give you a breastfeeding counselor consultation. In case your milk hasn't kicked in yet, get a breastfeeding counselor to help you. Seriously, the breastfeeding counselor is supposed to help you. Okay, and the confinement center is supposed to be able to provide a really trained, knowledgeable breastfeeding counselor to be able to help you. And some confinement centers claim that they have one. Ask them for their name so that you can check out who their breastfeeding counselor is and where they are trained from. Okay, you have the right, mommy and daddies, you have the right to actually ask for this, because you are not paying $1, $2. You are paying a lot of money for your confinement. All right, to have your confinement. Number 2 is, does the center encourage pumping as soon as mother checks in? I know that one of the things at the confinement center, when one of my friends entered confinement center, they will ask the mother, do you bring your formula milk? Then the mother say no. Okay, and they say, okay, in that case, you pump lah. They said, why? I'm direct latching. And the nurse tells her, oh, you won't have enough milk. Immediately tell her, you won't have enough milk, so you better pump. Okay, that's another red flag already. So before you sign up, ask them. And of course, confinement centers to do their sales, they will tell you a lot of things. They can promise you a lot of things, okay? So what you can do is you make sure you write it down and you ask them to sign on it that you will support me in breastfeeding at whatever way, at whatever cost, so that when you have problems, bring it out, and then this is the agreement that you will support me, and it includes getting a breastfeeding counselor, a breastfeeding consultant to come and help me. All right. So then, what are the alternative feeding methods if mother needs to rest? Yeah, of course, mother needs to rest, and sometimes you need to take a break. Totally understand that. Totally allowed to do that. If you need to take a break, okay, that what is it that when mothers need to rest, and I've been feeding the baby for so long, is it okay for me to send it to the nurses so that I can sleep for at least 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and then baby is hungry, to give my own express milk to the baby? Is it okay? Yes, it's okay. But what are the feeding methods? Does the center insist on giving only bottle? Because there are certain centers who do that. They say, no, we don't do cup feeding, we don't do syringe feeding, we don't do spoon feeding, we only use the bottle. I have a mother who told me, I went and visit her in a confinement center, and mother has plenty of milk, but she was just exhausted. And then she has so much milk, she asked the nurses, can you please help me to feed my baby, and so that the mother can actually rest. Or the mother wants to have a massage, and during the massage time, ask the nurse to feed the baby, right? So end up the nurse say, no, the only feeding method we do here is bottle feeding. There's no nonsense of cup feeding or syringe feeding. And the mother got so upset, so scared, that she decided to cancel her massage session, which she truly needs. She truly deserves to get a massage, to truly get, to have some rest and some enjoyment. But because the nurses in the confinement center would not support her, and therefore you have to find out all these mummies and daddies. You don't sign up and then later on you find out, oh, it's too late. All right. Then the next one that you also have to ask, all right, is does the center encourage rooming in? Does the center say, and they have proper beds, they have proper a good size bed for you and your baby to sleep together so that you can breastfeed on the bed? Or is the center just have a single bed and shared with another mother, and therefore not rooming in? I know that certain centers that is packed to the extreme that there are 2 or 3 mothers in a room, and to make it more cost effective, I do understand that. But however, do they encourage, if you cannot room in with your baby, will the nurses or the aunties in the center send the baby to you even though it's midnight, even though it's 3 o'clock in the morning? Will they send the baby to you? And a lot of time, a few centers, not few, a lot of centers actually say no, they will not send their baby at night. So from 10 o'clock to maybe 7 o'clock the next morning, they will not send the baby to the mother in the room anymore. And that, if you do not breastfeed at night and they ask you to pump at night, a lot of things can happen. And one of it is usually pumping injuries that can happen. Of course, I understand that you are a working mom, you may need to pump, but not too early. Asking you to pump on the first day in your confinement center is way too early. We usually recommend that if you really want to pump, wait until week 3. If you have really want to pump it until week 3, then you can start pumping, start practicing. But you should spend the first 3 weeks direct latching your baby. All right, so that's how it is. And will the helper send a baby to you during midnight feeding? So we sound like wow, we are so strict on breastfeeding. I want to tell you that I have operated confinement centers before. Okay, I have my own confinement center before, but I've closed it down due to personal reasons. Yeah, and in all cases, when you are able to support a mother to breastfeed, all right, even through the night, even through midnight, and when the mother, after the first difficult 1 week or 2 weeks, and they come out triumphant, they come out successfully breastfeeding, it's such a joy to the mother. The mother is like so grateful that, wow, even to those mothers who didn't plan to breastfeed long, okay, initially maybe their plan is just to breastfeed for 1 month, they end up enjoying the breastfeeding experience so much that they continue to breastfeed. So when you sign up for a center that seems to be very, very, very strict on breastfeeding, it's for your own good, mommy, daddy. It's not, nobody can force you to breastfeed. For example, I used to have this confinement center that time, right? They will come to me, and then they will look at the place, and then after that they will not sign up. And then when I ask them, why don't you sign up? Why are you not signing up? And they just say, oh, because I'm very afraid that I cannot breastfeed. I said, exactly, if you're very afraid that you cannot breastfeed, we are the best person to help you. We are the best, or rather, I am the best person to be able to help you to breastfeed successfully. Then my nurses are fully well trained. They know exactly what to do to help a mother to breastfeed successfully. They know exactly what to say to help the mother, to keep the mother motivated to breastfeed successfully. And then the mother say like, yeah, but I heard from another center, I heard that if I cannot breastfeed successfully, then you will force me. I'm like, hello, mommy, the breast is on you. How am I going to force you to breastfeed? If you do not want to breastfeed, no, nobody is going to force you. But the first and foremost is, do you want to breastfeed? If you really, really want to breastfeed, you make sure you choose a center that will really be able to help you. But if you really don't want to breastfeed, then of course, it doesn't matter which center you choose. Go ahead and choose whatever. But if you really want to breastfeed, you must make the center that you choose accountable for the promises they have given you, that they will support you. Then you must make them accountable. You know how many mothers I've visited in confinement centers? I've visited so many mothers in confinement centers, and they're so disappointed. They say when I sign up, the confinement centers promise them they will support them in breastfeeding. But the way they support, or the way they are friendly, is if you got milk, you breastfeed. Oh, if you don't have milk, how to breastfeed? That's their way of supporting. And they don't know exactly what to do if your baby have jaundice. They don't know exactly what to do if your baby is not putting on weight. The only solution they give you is formula milk. All right. So I do know of confinement centers that are really, really good at breastfeeding, but do not be afraid of them. Ask question. If you're afraid that they will force you to breastfeed, just ask, are you going to force me to breastfeed? Just ask. And I can tell you that the confinement centers that I know to be breastfeeding friendly, for example, in KL and in Klang Valley is Twinsie Confinement Center, and in Seremban is Postnatally. Yeah, they are truly breastfeeding friendly. They're truly breastfeeding supportive. They know exactly what to do to help you to breastfeed. But mothers who can't breastfeed for whatever reason, or for reasons that halfway through it, you can't take it anymore and you decided to give up breastfeeding and go full formula feeding, guess what? They will also support you in that. Yeah, they will respect you as a mother, you as a father, your wishes to formula feed your baby. They will support you that. So don't be afraid. Don't listen to other people bad mouthing them and say, oh, don't go to that confinement center. They will force you. Nobody can force you. It's just because of the passion in helping people to breastfeed that they have laid down all the protocols to help you to breastfeed. But if you can't, you decide that I want to breastfeed, but when you're in the situation and you decide that breastfeeding is not for me, all right, rest assured, mommy, you will still be supported. Okay? So this is my sharing for today, and I want to encourage you, be prepared, not scared. A lot of time, a lot of people are just scared of what is happening. Just so they are just simply scared, and then they don't dare to do anything else. All right. Okay. So let's look at some of the questions that we have here. Let's see. Charmaine, last time somebody said you cannot stand and drink water. Why? Because if you drink water, your pee will come out from the mouth immediately, right? Yeah, I have heard of that before also. Yeah, and then must sit down and drink. She scolded you, sort of. Okay, that's funny. Old folks say cannot shower for 12 days and some say 40 days. Yeah. Yeah, Sharina, I was told that too, but I have to churi go and shower lah. Oh. Okay, let's see this. Cannot sit and drink plain water, cannot drink too much. Every day I drink Red Dates water. And for some people, it's okay. It didn't make much of a difference. But for a lot of mothers, sometimes when they tell me that I couldn't increase my milk supply, I've been direct latching every day. So I actually ask them, how much water do you drink? And surprised to say, not a single drop, but they do drink red date water. And then when I tell them you slow down, not stop, you slow down on your red date water, you add instead of red date water, you add 1 or 2 glasses of plain water and see what happens. And the next day, and guess what? Yes, her milk increased. So drinking too much red date water can actually stop your milk supply. Actually, it's true, yeah. So yeah, okay. So there's a question here from Janice, that you're 34 weeks pregnant, first pregnancy, wonderful. Thank you so much. And you would like to know consultation in Penang Island? Yes, Janice. Janice, yes, we do have a breastfeeding counselor in Penang. Okay. You have to go to our Facebook page called Tiban Breastfeeding Counselors. Okay, Tiban Breastfeeding Counselors. I'm going to put the link down somewhere, or maybe if Mami Shamin or Daphne will help me to put the link there for you. You can actually go into the link and you can find the breastfeeding counselor that is attached to Tiban Breastfeeding Counselors in Penang. We have one there, and hopefully we get more in future lah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just going through the questions because I do not want to miss any one of your questions. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Breastfeeding counselors, please to give Mommy Jenny's the link. Ivy, your grandma scolded you for taking a bath with water heated even. Okay, after baby is 1.5 months old. Wow, this is new. This is something new. That your baby is already 45 days old and still not allowed to bathe. Wow. Okay, that's new to me. So you shower right after you wake up from giving birth to your firstborn. Even the nurse was shocked and thought Chinese cannot tahan. Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. And I'm sure you are strong and healthy today, right? Yeah. In case you're wondering, okay, I am 47 years old. I shower through all my 4 confinement, and I feel fine. Seriously. So I shall wait until I'm 60 and then I'll tell you what happened, okay? But maybe at 60, it's old age. If you have rheumatism, you have pain, aches here and there, it's old age. I know a lot of men who have never given birth suffers from arthritis and rheumatism. How come? Yeah, maybe they drink too much beer. Okay. Is it true that we cannot wash hands using or bottles, anything too frequently? Vicky, it's not true. You can wash, but the thing is, if you keep washing, that means you're on your feet washing when you should be resting. Tired or not? Tired na? So if you can get help from somebody else to wash for you, isn't that better? It's not about touching the water, right? It's not about touching the water. I really don't believe that. But it's more on after delivery, your immune system is lower, your energy is low, is weaker, and then you have to wash bottles, you have to wash these dishes, and then of course your body needs rest and you're not resting, therefore it takes a toll on you after that. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. They say don't cut your baby's fingernails. She cried. Oh, she cried during confinement. All right, poor thing. Okay, let's see. Wow, your bentong ginger, that is so spicy and hot, right? Yeah. You shower every day, good for you, Natalie. And wash hair to your confinement. Personal hygiene is priority. Did your confinement lady faint? She was like, what like you? You're so naughty. You don't even listen, yes? Yes, compromise by drying your hair as soon as possible. Definitely, yes. Okay. Let's see. All right. Thank you very much for all this comment. I'm looking for questions, yeah. So I have to go through one by one because I do not want to miss anyone, if just in case there's a question. Yeah, when you're old only, then you know. Okay. Let's see. Congratulations, Daphne, for making the right choice for your second one, yeah. Okay, will I train confinement center operators up? Yeah, that's what I hope to do. Thank you for this question, Daphne. Yeah, that's what I hope to do, to be able to train confinement centers operators. But unfortunately, I've sent out a lot of invitation to confinement centers operators to train them. But very, very few takers. Very, very few. Okay, I can count on two fingers the confinement. That means two only. Okay, there are so many confinement centers around, until more than 100, maybe a few hundred. All right, and only two confinements have actually taken up my training, and these two confinement centers is, one is Twin C, one is Postnatally. And because they have taken up my training and I've made them promise to do whatever they can in their power to help the mother to breastfeed, but at the same time to respect the mother's wishes if they wish not to breastfeed later on. Okay, if they change their mind and they don't want to breastfeed later on, to respect their wishes as well. And that is why I dare to tell you that these are the two confinement centers that will really do their best in helping you, because the operators and the owners of these confinement centers, they have heart of gold. They really, really love the babies. They are doing it. Of course, all of us do it because we want to make a living, we want to make a profit. But I can really see that these two operators are really doing it because they really love what they are doing. So I want to commend them on that. Yeah. Thank you, Mindy, for being here with me again. Congratulations on your new baby. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mom Study. Okay. When you're pregnant, when you survey for confinement center, this very famous center told you what brand? Wow. And it's free. I told them, okay, you want breastfeed? Oh, also can lah. That's good. It's good that they say also can lah. But isn't it better if the confinement center actually do not actually give you the brand? Because I've visited a confinement center. This is my personal experience. Um, the One of the nurses was really good. I visited a friend, and the nurse actually tell her, good, you have milk, continue to breastfeed, you can do it, mommy, you can do it. I was like, wow, so impressed. The nurse say that. All right, then the nurse left the room, and I was about to go home. I went out of my friend's room to go out, and I heard the boss of the confinement center scold the nurse. You always go and tell the mother to breastfeed, then my formula milk, how to sell? So when I overheard that, I actually made my presence known. I was like, hey, bye bye, I need to go out, can you open the gate? I actually made my, and I just give the eye to the center operator. But yeah, that's how it is. Okay, sad. Yenmei, your confinement center you went to insisted mommy's pump milk out to feed baby at night. Oh gosh. Yes, mommy Yenmei, you always have a choice. Okay, always remember, mummies. You are the paying customers. Of course, you have to be a nice paying customer, but you have rights. You don't demand the sky and the moon, of course. Okay, be reasonable. But when it comes to your baby, comes to breastfeeding, you must demand that the confinement center support you in the right way. Okay, that's what I strongly believe, and there are I believe with the right push, with the right demand, more and more confinement centers will become more and more breastfeeding supportive, and possibly start training their nurses. Yes, start training their nurses. Stephanie. All right. Oh, thank you so much, Penny. You plan your breastfeed for 6 months, you continue. Congratulations, 4 months. Congratulations. Happy with your achievement too. Okay, if your baby has jaundice, Rina, during confinement, yes, your baby, can mommy still take ginger and wine in moderation? Yes, you can. Okay, but sometimes the baby's jaundice is prolonged, and the doctor will advise you to stop your ginger and your wine. Now, why does a doctor advise you that? Actually, are there any research that supports that ginger and wine actually cause baby's jaundice? Actually, not so. All right, if it's taken in moderation. But the doctor have no idea how much ginger or wine you are taking. She doesn't know. When he said you can take a little bit, maybe your little bit is 1 kg. the doctor doesn't know. So most doctors will play safe by telling you stop all ginger and wine, just in case you are really doing too much, you are excessively taking. Now, when it comes to jaundice, I actually have another Facebook Live with Dr. Chong, who talks about jaundice. To watch it, okay? Really, really good information there. Hi Marisol, why should we drink warm water and not cold water? Well, actually, you can drink cold water if you want to. It's just that to please the old people, that when they see you drinking water, they get horrified. It's just I'm drinking warm water. But if you want to drink cold water, go ahead. But another thing that you have to understand about your body is about 37 degrees, all right, 36, 37 degrees Celsius. So when you drink something cold inside, especially when you have a weakened immune system, after delivery, all of us, our body is weaker a little bit, you may not feel comfortable because it does affect your digestion. Your digestion is already impacted from the pregnancy and then from the delivery. Okay, so a lot of mothers suffers from slower digestion. So when you drink cold water in, it may even slow your digestion even further. So and then they don't feel comfortable. They feel like they have indigestion after drinking cold water. So it's a good idea. Even for me, who I'm not pregnant. I'm not having a confinement. Okay, not at least not for the last 18 years, right? If I drink cold water after food, right, I don't feel so good because it does impact the digestion a little bit. Not too no, but some people drink cold water, not a problem. Okay. Hi, Sok Ting. You currently you pump 4 hours and got you 6 to 8 ounce. Wow. Is it normal? It is a lot. It is a lot, Sok Ting. So agak lah. Most mothers are usually produce 1 ounce per hour. So 4 hourly usually 4 to 5 ounce. 6 to 8 ounce is a lot. It's oversupply, but still manageable. I think it's still at a manageable stage, unless you are also latching, and after latching you still pump 6 to 8 ounce. Yeah, that's definitely too much. So my suggestion for you, Sok Ting, is if your baby is or you didn't say how old your baby is. If your baby is still very young, it's possible to go back to direct latching, or if you are still continue to direct latch, if you are still direct latching, continue to direct latch. That's the best. And then when you pump, do not excessively pump. Don't force it out. Okay, pump for a maximum of 20 minutes should be good enough. Okay, be gentle to your breast. Congratulations, Alicia. Yeah. What should I have? When should you have a session you're expecting soon? Okay, assuming you're pregnant already. Yeah. Okay. You should actually attend a breastfeeding class. Okay, do attend a breastfeeding class. I have breastfeeding class now, Zoom live, where it's live session and you can ask me question as I'm teaching, or there's recorded version. So there's no excuses for anybody who say, oh, I have no time, or I miss your breastfeeding class, or whatever it is. You have 9 months to prepare for pregnancy, through the pregnancy, and prepare for your baby, right? So attend a breastfeeding class. And from that breastfeeding class, I guarantee you will learn a lot more. There's a lot of things. And the first thing to prepare is a breastfeeding class, not your breast pump and not baby's toys, okay? Excuse me. I'm just going to call. Hi, I'm back. Okay, doctors and nurses advise not to take any herbs at all during confinement because it will cause excess bleeding. Take moderately as you advise. Rina, if it depends on your situation, if you are already, or you're at risk, okay, you're at risk of bleeding, then it's best to listen to your doctors, okay? But if you are having a normal pregnancy and everything seems to be normal, then taking in moderation shouldn't be a problem. But talk to your doctor about it. Ask the doctors and the nurses why they advise you. Are you at higher risk than other people of having excessive bleeding? But if you are normal, you have a normal delivery and normal pregnancy, then the normal herbs that is taken during confinement, like the red date, the goji berry, and the tongsam and all the stuff, should be fine. 34 to 35 weeks now, Alicia. So you are perfect time to attend a breastfeeding class. Yeah, please to attend a breastfeeding class. And in addition to attending a breastfeeding class, do attend the Nurturing Parents Workshop. The Nurturing Parents Workshop prepares you for your baby until at least 3 years old. Okay, so in that workshop, you learn about your baby's pattern, your baby's behavior, your baby's growth, what to do with a crying baby, how to get more attachment to your baby, how to calm your baby down, and how to wean your baby onto solid food. So you get all that, and it's really highly recommended if you can to attend it while you're pregnant, because usually most mothers find that after they deliver their baby, a lot of things is haywire and they're so busy and they may not have the opportunity to attend a class. Yeah. Yes, my next class is on 22nd of August. Thank you so much, Stephanie. All right. We've met a few mothers saying that they only allowed to drink hot, plain water only. Okay, they restricted them from drinking adequate water. Wow. Keep a bottle of water secretly by the bed. Yeah, that's what happened to me. My mom refused to give me water, and then when I went to the kitchen, right, my mom would follow me. Now my mom is she loves me very much. Definitely, she loves me very much. Okay, that's why she wanted to make sure that I do all the right thing in her opinion. But not being able to drink water is really, really bad. Okay, it impacts your digestive system. It impacts you going to the toilet. It impacts your face. It impacts the way you sweat. Impacts your entire health so bad. So what my husband did was he actually brought mineral water and we sneak it into the room, okay, and hide it under the bed, hide it under my pillow so that I will continue to drink. So please drink, okay. Certain things when I tell you, when people say don't do this, don't do that, you ask yourself, will I die if I follow? Correct? Remember I say that. So if they say don't drink water, will you die? Yes, mommy. If you don't drink water, your health will be so badly impacted that you may cut off a lot of years. You are supposed to live up to 120. Who knows? You die 100 instead. Jokes aside, yeah, water is really important. You must drink water, okay? So only can drink hot plain water. Then okay, Lord, drink hot plain water, Lord. Just make sure that the water, just drink cool it down and drink. You are not able to drink 100 degrees Celsius water down like that. Well, you have to cool it down and you just drink anyway. Okay. You heard from some friends that after giving birth, you must direct lash as soon as possible to help establish. Yes, it's true, Alicia. That is why it's so important for you to go for a breastfeeding class. Yeah. Can confinement center operators still come for training now if they choose to? Is training available soon? Training is available on request. Upon request, yes, they are able to. But before I actually accept you to train you and your staff, there are certain things that you have to promise to do. All right, and one of the most important thing that I will ask you to promise is to not take sponsorship from formula milk company. If this request is you cannot meet this request of not taking sponsorship from formula milk companies, then don't bother looking for me. Just to be upfront with you, okay? Because formula companies is enemy number one. Seriously. Formula milk is not poison. I have to stress that formula milk is not poison. There are certain situations where formula milk saves lives. But the unethical way that formula milk companies push their formula milk to mothers who are susceptible, mothers who are in trouble, mothers who are afraid, that is not acceptable. Okay, I have to stress that. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay. Hi, Asu. Oh, thank you very much. I thought it was a question. I'm saying, you're still 20 months old baby. Congratulations, Asu. 3 months old, going to be 4 months. Currently, you pump 4 hourly, 8 12. Okay, you direct lash your baby. After you lash, you yield about 3 to 3. Yeah, most of the time after direct latching, most mothers pump about 1 to 2 ounces. So you can pump 3 to 3.5 ounces. Yeah, it's certainly a lot. But if you're feeling fine, I guess maintain it as that. Don't go and take milk booster or increase your supply and all the stuff. Yeah, I would like to take this opportunities where I've seen a lot of mothers say you should have susu berlemak beryogurt. to thicken your milk. That's something that I definitely do not agree, because your body produces the right amount of milk. Forcing your breast to produce too much milk, or forcing your breast to produce milk that is high in fats, don't you think your body is intelligent enough to know what kind of milk to produce? Yes, it does. So you don't have to do certain things to make sure that you have fatter milk or yogurt milk or whatever it is. Okay. Breastfeeding is supposed to be enjoyable. It's not supposed to be something that you interfere with. Don't play God with it. Just breastfeed your baby. Put the baby to the breast and breastfeed, okay? Or pump if you have to. I understand that a lot of working mothers do have to pump. Yes, Alicia, you must attend with your husband, because if you don't attend with your husband, you have to pay double. Okay, yeah, I will put the link down later on. Hi Joanne, your baby prolonged jaundice and needed to admit to hospital. Pumping 1 to 2 ounces back then was devastated. Oh, I understand. When some mummies posted on, they can pump 10 to 15, but still consistently pump every 2 to 3 hours. LO eventually gets better. Now, never had you pump more than 6 ounces. Okay, your baby still managed to. Thank you so much for this sharing, okay, Joanne. Now, those mothers whom you see pumping 10 to 50 ounces, they're definitely overproducing. And being an oversupply mommy is really no fun. It's really painful, and it can really impact your whole breastfeeding experience. Some mothers are very happy with it. That's fine, okay, if they are fine. But most mothers who oversupply have a lot of other issues like plaque duct mastitis, okay, and even breast abscess. Mastitis is a breast infection. Abscess is when the milk is stuck in your breast and become nana, all right, and you may have to go to a doctor, and the doctor have to extract and sometimes even a breast surgery can happen. So please do not aim to be an oversupply mother. I know some mothers who say, oh, I'd rather be oversupply than undersupply. Not really. A lot of mothers actually contacted me to manage their oversupply, and a lot of mothers stop breastfeeding because of the oversupply. It's the one who is undersupply who will keep persevering and really work hard to make their supply goes up, but it's the oversupply mothers who will give up eventually. So congratulations on what you have done, Joanne. Really proud of you. Yeah. And on a note about people who posted at 10 to 15 ounces on T-Ban, yeah, I would just like to let you know that we allow that. We allow that because every mother deserves to celebrate her successes. So if it's 10 ounce, she deserves to celebrate it, and she deserves to share it with her friends, with anybody who, so that we should, as women, as mothers, breastfeeding mothers, we know how difficult it is. We should actually congratulate her, but we don't have to follow her. So I like to actually encourage as many mothers as possible, especially those who have very little milk. If you pump half an ounce, you pump 1 ounce, share it. All right, share it, and just say that half an ounce, that 1 ounce, or that 2 ounce is fantastic. So that more and more people understand, hey, pumping 1 ounce, pumping 2 ounce is fantastic. You don't have to only share your photo when it's 10 ounce or 15 ounce. Yeah. Albany, milk booster to increase milk supply only if it's necessary. Okay, if for example a mother who has to go back to work and she needs a stash of milk in her freezer when she goes back to work, let's say she doesn't have enough and she wants to pump so that she have enough to make her feel comfortable that the baby is going to be okay, all right, then some mothers will actually take some milk boosters to increase the pumping yield. That's fine. And there are a lot of natural milk boosters out there. For example, good food like oats and fenugreek and oat bran and salmon and avocado, and all the foods are really good. So certain milk, for example, milk booster cookies. All right, if you like them, go ahead and take them, because do they work? I think they do, because as you're eating them, you're very happy, and they do contain good ingredients with as little sugar as possible, hopefully. And then when you're eating them, you're drinking water too, I hope, because when you eat a cookie, you need to drink water, okay? And then that could actually work to help to increase your milk supply. So if you have to, I think it's okay to do that, to take milk booster to increase the supply. And one of the most common milk boosters is actually fenugreek, yeah? Rina, your baby is 8 months now. You should wean her pacifier. Another thing is she seems to have sleep regression. She will sleep at okay. It's very, very normal. the 8 months sleep regression is actually very, very common. A lot of mothers, a lot of babies go through it. Yeah. So do some research on the sleep regression part. Perhaps, Rina, you can use something called inner talk. If you have not attended the inner talk, I have a recorded session for the next 2 days on 15 and 16 of August that you can actually attend to you help her with that. As for weaning off her pacifier, if she's willing to be weaned off, wonderful. You can try. I will suggest that you start trying to wean her off the pacifier, but never force. Do it as gently as possible, okay? Use inner talk to do that. Yeah. Hi, Irene. Yeah, under supply, but you keep expressing, yes. Usually it's the undersupply who will just keep working at it. Yeah, I've met so many oversupply mothers who are crying and they come to me and they just say that, can you please help me, teach me how to stop? And it becomes something. I have this mother who was so oversupplied, and she has mastitis 3 times in a month. That means, wow, almost every week she has mastitis, and she's just been taking antibiotics after antibiotics, and she's just telling me I need to stop. And I felt so sorry for her, so I helped her to stop producing her milk, and she doesn't want to take medication, which is good for her, but eventually we helped her to stop, and she went from suddenly oversupply to suddenly zero, just like that. She was never in between. So till now her baby is actually grown. I think her baby is now should be about 4 or 5 years old. She actually still grieve for it. She feel pain, and then whenever she see another breastfeeding baby, she actually feel pain. And I have to tell her that it's okay, to let go, forgive yourself, and move on. It's something that's so painful for her that it's like she has lost a part of herself. I feel so sorry for her. And the reason why she started off with so much milk is, unfortunately, the first day in the confinement center, she started pumping because apparently the lactation counselor or consultant in that confinement center told her that she has to pump. So I actually did a little bit of research, and then I found out that there's no lactation consultant there. The owner claims herself to be a lactation consultant. Okay. Okay, if one day you decide to stop breastfeeding her after she's 2 years old, you don't need to feed any milk, right? That's true. Wonderful. Your baby actually, even if you decide to stop breastfeeding at 1 month old, your baby do not need any formula milk and don't even need any fresh milk at all. Really, they don't. All right, like my son, my youngest son, he's 18 years old this year. And he just turned 18 in July. He stopped breastfeeding himself when he was about 12 months, 13 months old. Actually, he started on his birthday. He just one day decided on his birthday that there's so much food around, it's so yummy. He decided that he doesn't want to breastfeed anymore. And I will be trying to force him, come in. And sometimes the only time I can feed him is when he's sleeping, and even then he will fight me. And eventually I just give up lah. And from that time onward, I was 18 years ago, still a new mother, I was a little bit concerned, like, oh, he's not getting enough milk, So I bought him formula milk, he rejected. I bought him soy milk, he rejected. I bought him almond milk, all those plant-based milk. Oh, he rejected everything. So then I was a bit desperate. I actually I bought a new bottle. It's so nice at the bottle. I put all the milk inside, he refused. I put ABC soup inside. And then he thought it was very fun. He started drinking the ABC soup through a bottle. Yeah, he could do that. And from that time on, that's it. He doesn't take any milk at all, not even fresh milk. He takes ABC soup and whatever soup I make for him. We Chinese, we make a lot of soup, right? We love herbal soup and all those soup, he will drink. So he doesn't drink formula milk at all. Yeah. So yeah. Now I have to stop eventually. So my last question will be at CT Claire. Okay, CT Claire. Yeah? So let's see the next question. Hi Durga, your baby is 5 months old. Congratulations. You're low supply. You only need the right breast lactate. Your left completely no supply. Could only pump. You 3 ounce. Wow. From one breast 3 ounce. Congratulations. Wonderful. You're doing a wonderful job. All right. Now Durga, because we have to understand what has happened to your left breast that completely no supply. Did you do anything, or was there a surgery or whatever it is? So maybe I have encountered a situation like this before, and we were able to help the mother to restart lactating we call it the lazy breast. But sometimes if it's due to other medical reason or due to injury or whatever it is, it may not be possible. But let's try. You can contact any one of the T-Ban breastfeeding counselors and see whether they can help you or not. Okay. We are a team, the T-Ban breastfeeding counselors. We train a group of mothers who have breastfed their babies for at least 1 year or are medical professionals themselves. And then they do not have to meet the qualification of 1 year breastfeeding, but they will be able to help you. Hi, you after 20 minutes pump still feel tiny lump here and there at the areola part. Should you mame? Yeah, if you can. Some research have actually shown that when you pump and you use your hand at the same time, it clears the breast a lot better. So what I suggest you to do is just do a 15 minutes pump or 10 minutes pump, and the rest of the time just use your hands, your fingers. Actually, your hands and your fingers works a lot better. If possible, chuck the pump, throw away the pump, and use your hands only, if possible. My recommendation is that. But if not possible, you prefer, because the pump may serve you better, then just do a 10 or 15 minutes and use your fingers instead. Okay. Hi Mei Yi, you had chilies in the middle of the night. Is suspected. You have chills. Sorry, I saw chilies. Suspected you have mastitis. Your left breast is quite painful, but don't feel engorged. Do you keep pumping every 4 hours? No, maybe if you suspect you have mastitis, go and see a doctor. Okay, you got chills especially, and then the next day it seems better, right? It can happen that way. Go immediately and see a doctor, please. Don't wait, because those are symptoms already. Those are your body giving you signs. Just because you feel better the next day, it doesn't mean that you are actually better. Go and see a doctor. And are you able to latch? If you can latch, actually latching is the best solution for mastitis, not pumping. Okay, but some doctors may recommend that you pump to clear the breast. Remember one thing, you can never empty the breast, because the breast can never be empty. Every time you pump, the breast is constantly producing milk. You can never be empty one, but you can clear it more. That means it feels empty, but it's never empty. So some doctors may say that that to advise you to pump just to clear the breast. My recommendation is, if you can, direct latch your baby and then use your hands to try to clear the breast instead of using a pump, because a lot of time your situation can be aggravated, can be made worse by over pumping. And then when you over pump, you continue to produce a lot more milk and continue, it goes in a vicious cycle. So I actually don't encourage pumping if you can, okay? But if you have to, go ahead, but try to minimize it and be gentle with your breast. It's not necessary that you have to use the highest level in pumping, okay? Just be gentle. Using your hands will be the best. Okay, so Tim, you're scared of becoming oversupplied, because oversupply will cause a lot of issues, yeah? And luckily you met Dr. Kohn. Somehow the supply now adjusted back to a management. Yeah, the oversupply is really not a happy situation. Yeah. CT Claire, this will be my last question. Is there any more effective way to clean nipple? I've always have my nipples stuck with breast milk up, and therefore mastitis. Or are you referring to mastitis? Is a bacterial infection. Okay, so if you're talking about your after latching and do you have to clean your nipple, actually you don't have to. After pumping, you have to clean your nipple. Actually, you don't have to. But maybe if you're very sweaty, using a clean handkerchief, a wash handkerchief, to clean your nipples, and then putting your handkerchief into the washing machine is important. Always use a clean handkerchief. I suggest that you don't use tissue, because tissues are not clean. Actually, they are not very hygienic. Just to wipe your breast and then wash the handkerchief. But if you are referring to plaque ducts at your nipple or in your breast, and you don't seem to be able to clear it, and then you get plaque ducts, and therefore you get mastitis because of you get a bacterial infection, then the reason we have to actually identify what's the reason for it. Is it because mastitis happens usually, or plaque duct? It happens with a plaque duct first, then it proceeds on to become a mastitis and even a breast abscess. But in some cases, there's no plaque duct. Just mastitis suddenly happen because of an infection. Okay, it can happen that way. But if you are always feeling there's lumps in your breast, what happened? Have you over pumped? You pumped too early, or maybe you're wearing clothes that are too tight. Sometimes when you're wearing very tight clothes, you lift your baju up. Okay, you actually lift your clothes up to breastfeed, so your clothes is very tight and you press against here, and then it can cause a plug duct as well. So in order to identify your particular situation, I suggest that CT Claire, that you actually seek a T-BAN breastfeeding counselor to assess your situation and see how to help you. Okay, I'm going to put the T-BAN breastfeeding counselor link in this thread later on, so that you can contact them, you can access them. And a note about this T-BAN breastfeeding counselors are, as I mentioned before, they are all mothers who have breastfed their babies for at least 1 year. That's the criteria for acceptance. Yeah. Another criteria is if they are medical professionals, whether they are dentists or pharmacists or doctors or nurses or midwives, then they do not have to fulfill that 1 year breastfeeding criteria. But most of them do. Most of these people, they do fulfill that. So they have actually breastfed themselves, and they are very knowledgeable through their own experience and through the training that they have in helping mothers to breastfeed. Okay, and they do it out of their own pocket expenses. They have to pay for it. They have to pay for materials. They have to pay to attend training, and they have to take time off their work, meaning that they have to take 5 days leave or sometimes, okay, from their work, just to have to come for training. And a lot of time they have to leave their babies, they have to leave their young children at home so that they can go to your house and visit you and help you. So we do charge a small fee to cover some costs. So, and the small fee is really small. It's only 60 ringgit per hour. And you will realize that it is actually very, very reasonable. So, and it's so a lot more cheaper than buying formula milk. Correct? Buying formula milk. So you please do access their services. Yeah, do access their services and appreciate the time that they actually put into serving you. We also do online consultation, okay, for example by WhatsApp or even by PM private message on Facebook. Online consultation without face-to-face, without video call, we charge 60 ringgit per week. 60 ringgit per week. Very reasonable, isn't it? In just 1 week, you ask any question you want. Consecutive days, not 1 day here, 1 day next week, 1 day another week, but consecutive 7 days. Ask any question you want and they will answer you. If you want a face-to-face physically or face-to-face online, video call is $60, 60 ringgit per hour. All right, I think that's very, very fair. So thank you so much for your time here. CT is going to be my last question, but I see another last question here and you need to clarify. So after Daphne, there's no more. So I just wanted to, Indrani, your new mom to 2 months old baby, low supply, just to clarify, milk supply still low to now, the symptom that, no, it's not. We have to identify what is it that you have done, what is it that you have not yet tried to do. So we want to find the reason for your low supply, okay? Or maybe it's actually not low supply, but you think it's low supply. For example, a mom actually contacted me and said she has low supply and she's really upset. And when I asked her how much milk can you actually express, can you pump? She says 6 ounces. I'm like, 6 ounces is not low supply. So, but if you really believe that you have low supply, do get in touch with one of the T-BAN breastfeeding counselor. We will help to assess your situation and find out the reason and help you to increase your supply. It's not an indication that your milk is going to stop, okay? Now, let's say your supply never increases, Indrani. Your supply remains low, okay? And it doesn't increase. That's not a reason to stop breastfeeding. Even if you can pump and you can breastfeed your baby, just 2 bottles a day or 1 bottle a day, that's fantastic. That's really fantastic. Please don't give up. Just that 1 bottle a day will save your son's life or your baby's life. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everybody who has joined us. It's always a pleasure. I really love talking to you. I know it's just a one-way conversation, but your messages really encourage me. Do share this Facebook Live with your friends. Go ahead and share it, okay? Good information here. Please share it and drop me a note if you have anything that you'd like me to share in future, okay? Drop me a note on what are the topics that you'd like me to cover. I will see whether I can cover it. And if you look at all my Facebook Live, everything that I have shared, actually, if you just watch all my Facebook Live, you'll be able to breastfeed already. You have enough information to breastfeed already. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Really love being with you. So good night. Go and hug your baby. Kisses to all of you. Bye bye.